Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hope you had a wonderful week. It's been a pretty busy week for myself and the market most of the week. We've been up, down, sideways, all the way around, but we have not found acceptance above that 41.41 level that I've been talking about for quite some time. However, just because we haven't found acceptance in the first 2 weeks of the month doesn't mean we're not going to, right? We still got a lot to test out here. So far, it's kind of a failure of a inside week up or inside month up, excuse me, because last month was trading inside of December's range, and then we finally came out of it to the upside. For me, once again, my monthly balance is August high at 43.2750, and my monthly balance low is October's low at 35.02. Okay, I expect this to chop around in this large range for quite some time. I am still expecting uh, us to maybe possibly set new lows on the year, but that's just me being biased. However, what the market's been telling us is that we are attempting to break out of this downward trend and move higher. Uh, so if we find acceptance over 41.41, we'll more than likely get what is my balance high at 43.2750, and then I will begin to one time frame up. There are some people that have the balance high here, and uh, they are one time framing up right now. And all one time framing up means is that we're just taking out previous month's highs and setting higher lows. So that is what's occurring on our monthly. Break it down to our weekly. Weekly is hopefully also this audio is a lot better. I've been trying to work on the quality of the audio. I know over the past couple weeks, months, the audio hasn't been as good. Hopefully, this is a little bit on the better side of things. Um, but as far as the weekly goes, we have been one time framing up 6 weeks in a row, 5 weeks in a row. Depends on if you include this week. I didn't call it up until this week, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row for me. We're needing to find acceptance over that 41.41 level. Last week we didn't find much acceptance over it. This week we didn't find much acceptance over it. This week we close out with an inside week. So if we come out of it, we should have some pretty good should have a pretty good move either to the upside or to the downside. So far, we are one time framing up. Right now we're calling the weekly up to balance. So because this week was an inside week, we are calling it up to balance. However, if we come out of this week's high and take out the previous week's high, we will continue to one time frame up. But if we take out last week's low down here at 40.2950, then you'll be putting ourselves back into a 4 week balance, which is a good possibility prior to the CPI data next week. And that's what we'll be looking forward to in the coming week. A lot of information to take into account here. What's been occurring over the past year doesn't seem to be occurring anymore. We're now in somewhat of an uptrend, right? Got a little bit of an uptrend going, trying to find acceptance over 41.41. Go down into our daily. Daily. Yesterday, I was discussing about how I didn't know if we were going to call the daily balance still, or if we were going to call it one time framing down, because we didn't get much extension or acceptance below the previous balance low, right here at 40.9825. So that's what we're looking for today. If we took out yesterday's low down here at 40.7825, then we'll begin to one time frame down firmly. So that's what we're doing. We're currently one time framing down, attempting to test the 20-day moving average down here at 65.50. So we are one time framing down 2 days in a row now. However, if we take out today's high at 41.05 or 41.0425, then we'll put ourselves back into a 3-day balance and look to take back part of this trend day. Today was a very small range, very light volume. Not a lot occurred except for me getting absolutely chopped up and destroyed due to my ego. And I'll talk a little bit about that here in just a second. But weekly or monthly balance, weekly up to balance, daily 1 time frame and down, 2 days in a row. Looking to back test the 20. If we get below that, you can find some acceleration. Back test to 50. Next destination, as far as moving averages go, would be the 200-day moving average. So, if the market doesn't like CPI number next week, guess what? We move down. If the market does, then we move up, right? Not that the CPI data means anything. What's been occurring is the market's trying to move higher. That could just be this catalyst for the move to the upside or the move to the downside, because this big red day here was just a big spook. So we'll see how it occurs. All right, let's go into our 30-minute time frame. And like I said, not a lot to discuss here, just a very rotational day inside of the lower distribution from the previous day, right? Yesterday was a triple distribution day, right? A's high to E's low was the upper. All of I's range was the middle range, right? Middle distribution. And then K's high to M's low was the lower distribution. We did take out the previous day's low, but not by a whole lot. We took it out, didn't get much extension, didn't find much down there, but we are 1 time framing down. Sellers are happy, right? We didn't get above the lower distribution all day long. We sat here and chopped around. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 time frames out of 13. Almost a perfect point of control, but 11 out of 13 time frames we traded back and forth through 4087, right? Yep, 4087. So back and forth. So we were fading highs and fading lows. That was the trade of the day. However, it was done in a choppy, very slow, grind your teeth and bones type of action. Bell-shaped curve, right? You can see where all the volume, we were fading the extremes and the edges, and all the business was being done here in the middle. So if you're buying down here, you were selling here. If you're selling up here, you were buying back here. So buyers and sellers happy in this 87 range. We rejected our price probe. So we took out the previous day's low. We did not get up into the or into the middle distribution, which I thought we had a decent chance at, because we couldn't get much below the balance low here, or not balance low, the previous day's low. After we 1 time frame down, couldn't get much extension, and then B was a reversal bar, so it felt like odds were pretty good that we'd go and get the overnight high, which we eventually did, and then eventually get the initial balance high. We attempted to go trend in B period, did not. C came in, filled the set of single prints, and that was kind of a telltale of what the type of day was going to be, right? Expectation wasn't to go have a trend day into a triple distribution trend day down, right? That's not what you're looking for. However, I did have a feeling that we'd have a good chance after getting the overnight high that we'd take out the initial balance high and at least get into the middle distribution. However, I was wrong and I got hurt because of it, right? After seeing that the day's rotational, not a lot occurring, right? You could have taken a short against B's high, right, to fill the set of single prints after seeing that there wasn't much momentum to the upside. You could have taken a long and F period. Excuse me. Could have taken a long and F period against the day's low, seeing that we were at the time 5 wide above. You want to buy down here, rotate up to get 6 wide. We did that in G period. G rotated up. You could have faded the new high in H period, because if we didn't go trend in B period, what makes you think we're going to go trend late in the day in H? So you fade H period to come back in. Wasn't another trade until L period. L was a good opportunity to take a short against the high of day to come in to get 11 wide, right? And then M period wasn't much of a trade there. You could have faded the new high because it did come in, but you wanted to make sure you weren't staying merry to come all the way down into the point of control down here. But fading edges and fading new highs on the day, extremes, was the play to take. My trade that I got caught up in, I was trading in F period. I was taking longs in F initially against E's low and the opening, thinking that we would rotate up and get 6 wide in F period pretty easily. That did not happen. I was caught with pretty big size because I was thinking chances were solid that we'd hold the open at the very least, hold the open and rotate up to get 6 wide here at 87. So I had a pretty good size on. It came in, got below the open. I got stopped out and had a pretty nasty loss there. Then in F period, I decided to take a short. This is all FOMO here. This isn't good trading. What I was doing was not thinking about the trade. I was thinking about the money that could have been made if the trade would have gone right. So after taking the loss in F period, I decided to give it another shot to try to make my money back. And so I felt, all right, we hadn't taken out the initial balance in either side, right? We were one time framing down at the time in F period. So I was thinking odds were good to go and get the initial balance low and then maybe push a little bit lower. So I got short, pretty decent size. Once again, it didn't push down. It popped up pretty good on me, and I got stopped out for another nasty loss. So overall, pretty bad day as far as trading went for me. After that, I didn't take another trade until which period was it? Oh, until K period, because K took out J's low, and we did not get near balance low at the time. Volume dried up, and so once we got back in the J's range, I got long to get 87, and then I took another short against J's high after we pushed up a little bit to come back in to 87 because we were just trading in between like this really tight range between 90, 87, and 84s, and a pretty tight range. So I was fading and both sides of J period initially and made decent on that, and then after that stepped away from the market. So pretty bad day P&L wise, but it was a rotational day. These are the type of days you kind of want to stay away from. Like I stayed away from this day here. I should have stayed away from this day here. I even told myself on the way home, I was thinking I've had a good week. It would be best not to trade today, and I came in ego driven and got demolished. So let's go ahead and review our go ahead and mark our destinations. Today's high is 4104.25. 4104.25 is our high day. And that's one thing. If you're a new trader or an inexperienced trader, you're going to want to stick with small size, be consistent, think about the good trade setup that is possible, and don't allow yourself to think about the money that could be made. Turn off the P&L. Don't think about P&L. Look at what the trade could possibly be. Is it a good risk reward? Is it fall in lines with what the market is attempting to do? Things of that nature. That is what you want to consider when getting into a trade, not considering how much money you could make and not not managing your risk well. And that's how you end up in a situation like I found myself in today, where I'm thinking about the money and not about the trade, and I get caught up pretty good. All right, today's low 69.50, and then we have our 11 wide point of control here at 87. 11 wide point of control, 87. Boom. We'll mark that yellow. 11 wide, pop. All right, let's go ahead and review some if-then statements. So if Monday we open up above the 11 wide point of control, take back this small set of single prints, get into the middle distribution, but cannot take out the upper portion of the distribution and take back this set of single prints, you will rotate back down to this 11 wide point of control because we are one time framing down. If we open up inside today's range above the 11 wide point of control and cannot take out today's high or get above the distribution here, you will rotate to the 11 wide point of control. If we open up below the 11 wide point of control and cannot take out today's low, you will rotate back to this 11 wide point of control. So right now it's a downside destination. If you open up down here, it is an upside destination. If you open up below today's English, God. If you open up below today's low and can't get much extension, you will rotate and test the 4087 11 wide point of control. Those are heat-seeking missiles. However, we are one time framing down. So the chances of us taking out today's low are pretty good. Odds are good. And that could happen if we can't take out today's high, put us back into a 3-day balance initially. Then you'll rotate lower, hit the point of control. If you get through that, take out the day's low. If you get through there, then you're testing 40, 48.50, 40, 33.25, and then and then last week's low at 40.29.50. So that is all I got for you today, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.